when it starts their stuff. No, sorry, fetch and hit, sorry. Oh, wrong way around. Is everyone ready? You good? 2 mics.
Everyone's good.
Who wants to start? Russ?
Steve, that's obviously a pretty disappointing end to what's been a pretty frustrating couple of weeks.
Yeah, it is. Out of the tournament now, so that's never nice. I thought we let ourselves down a little bit today. We got ourselves in a pretty good position early with the bat, probably 2 for 150 or wherever we were there, and we kept losing wickets through the middle, and someone in the top 4 probably needed to go on and make a 100. We weren't able to do that, and we lost 5 for 15 at one point as well, which you can't afford to do against an opposition like England. So that wasn't ideal. I thought we started reasonably well with the ball. To get 3 early wickets was quite crucial. And then it seemed like there was a bit of a momentum shift after that rain delay. Stokesy and Morgie came out and played very positively. We were off a bit with the way we were bowling. We gave them a lot of freebies, but they did play exceptionally well.
Steve, Ricky Ponting said today that from his point of view it looked like the group was maybe a bit jaded and a bit worn out after a long time on the road. Have you got that sense during the last couple of weeks that, seeing as you're at the end of a long season, that it maybe took its toll a bit?
I didn't get that feel, and that's no excuse anyway. When you're playing in a big tournament for your country, you need to step up and get the job done, and we weren't able to do that on this occasion, unfortunately. We've had some frustrating games throughout and just haven't been able to find any momentum, I guess. And today, it was disappointing.
Obviously, the drop catch by Matthew Wade on Owen Morgan, was that a turning point, do you think?
Certainly hurt. After that, Morgie got going and played particularly well, so could have had them 4 for 30 odd or wherever we were there, and Joss in with a reasonably new ball, which he's probably not used to that much. It probably hurt a little bit, yeah.
Is it hard to take too much out of this tournament for you guys, given you've only really had the one game, and the one game you did have, the batsmen looked a bit out of sorts, haven't had a hit, 2 games washed out. I know you're out before the finals, but can you take much out of the tournament at all?
You say that we only had 1 hit, but that should be good enough for the players that we've got in our team. We've got some good players in our lineup. We just weren't able to get those partnerships together today and get ourselves a score up over 300. I thought after the start we had, it was actually quite difficult early on. England probably bowled a fraction short with the newer ball, and when they got it up there it was quite hard work. So that was something that we wanted to learn from when we bowled, and we did that at the start. We got it up there and got the ball to nip about a bit, and then we were just off with our execution. And to be fair, Stokesy and Morgs came at us and played very positively, but we were off with our execution, and you can't be off when you're bowling to players like that. They're quality players.
Is Ben Stokes the best player in the world at the moment?
He's certainly playing very well. I don't like to put any tags on anything like that, but look, he's a fantastic player, and he's getting better and better as well, I think. So he contributes in every aspect of the game, whether it's bowling, out in the field, taking great catches, or with the bat now. He played a fantastic innings today. Really took the game on, and it was hard to stop.
Steve, what's next for you now in the next couple of months, and when you get back home, do you think you might get a bit more involved in the whole MOU situation?
A bit of a break for me now, and a few of the guys, I think. So it has been a long stint. We've been going for a while, so a little bit of a break, and then preparing for the Test series in Bangladesh.
So you're confident then that will go ahead?
Yeah, at this stage, I'm sure it will. Yeah.
Just talking in regards to the MOU situation and whether it gets cleared up, and as I say, when you get back, will you get a little bit more involved in that?
Look, at the moment we're supporting the ACA and we're right behind them, so we might have a few chats and stuff here and there now that this tournament's over, but yeah, we're supportive of everything they're doing.
Last two, Mac and Marty.
Steve, just in the field today, you seemed a little bit off after the rain delay. Was that just a lack of concentration? Was it just, you know, a long trip and players were tired, or, you know, you seem to be getting quite frustrated with some of the misfields out there?
Yeah, we just didn't put it together after the break. As I said, that Stokesy and Morgs played very well, but yeah, we were just a bit off with our execution, and you can't afford to be off when you're bowling to those guys. So from that aspect, it was disappointing. It was a must-win game for us, and we just didn't turn up the way I would have liked us to after the break.
Steve, just back to Stokesy. Obviously, you captained him in the IPL. Did you notice a quick development in him during that period? Obviously, coming into his first tournament with a big price tag, and he really did well. Did you notice even then he developed in 6 weeks or however long it was?
Always thought he was a good player, and you know, he's an incredibly strong lad and hits the ball very hard. So you know, those are the kind of things you want in white ball cricket. I think he's probably developed some smarts and you know, timing of his innings and things like that, and I'm sure that the more he plays, the better he'll get at that as well. But yeah, certainly a quality player, and he's in exceptional form at the moment.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I don't know if they want the final result is, but I just got a message saying you're off the front.
Stand it up.
The Scots are now winning. 2-2. Last minute equaliser. Injury
Yeah, there you go. Who was that 2-1?
Rolling yet, Cameron? Yeah. Good for you to start,
Yeah. I mean, 35 for 3 was looking a bit tricky, wasn't it? What did you say in that rain break when you came off?
We just talked about how we were going to go about it. You know, it was important to get some sort of a partnership going, and how we were going to negate Australia's bowling. You know, they bowled really well up front. They asked a lot of questions and got the ball moving. So we felt that I suppose the positive way was the best way. And we spoke about how we were going to go about it. It was a little bit differently, but it managed to work. We did it in our own way.
You looked to come out and play a fair few shots. I suppose when you got Ben Stokes with you at the other end, that's the way to go, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Personally, for me, you know, you have to earn the right for guys to make mistakes with the ball. So I did what I do, and obviously Ben's very naturally aggressive and finds attacking quite easy. So yeah, we went with that.
You've played with him for a long time, but does he keep surprising you? Or you suppose you see
Yeah, his potential is through the roof. you know, I think he bowled 4 overs in his first spell, and then to go back to him at the end with two of the hardest overs to bowl, you know, sums him up. He took it on his shoulders. He did it at the IPL. He did it really well, and then his batting was exceptional. Very calm at the crease, very relaxed. You know, all those games he's played really came to the fore today. He was outstanding.
Mel, cooking for you?
Just on Ben, you know, possibly match-winning or match-defining performance, runs out his captain. Talk us through that.
Yeah, it was a mess up. The two of us, I think, were ball watching. I didn't hear what he said. I turned around and he was beside me. So, you know, if he had missed the stumps, I would have been in, quite fortunately. But when he goes and wins us the game like that, it doesn't really bother me.
Ali?
I've got a couple if that's all right. Well, just still on Ben, but I mean, how lucky do you feel as a captain to have a player like that? You know, I mean, every team would want him in their side, wouldn't they?
I think so. I think the IPL auction proved that. You know, he's always looking to influence the game, bat, ball, or even in the field. You know, even in the field today at mid-on, he saves a lot of runs where guys nearly nick him in order to gain momentum. But even we went through a period today, about 5 overs, where he was unbelievable. He always wants to be in the game. I think that attitude within itself. You know, a lot of guys with potential like that, when things aren't going your way, you know, back into a corner. But that's not Ben.
And just the campaign so far. I mean, through to the semis, 3 wins. Do you have the belief now that you can go on and lift the trophy?
I certainly think game on game we've grown in confidence. Certainly with our bowling unit is looking on form. The last 2 games we've proved that we can peg sides back regardless, you know, where they're at going into the last 15 overs of the game, which are normally probably 2 years ago a bit of a car crash for us. So that's a huge improvement, and our batting just seems to strive. Yeah.
Gibbo, then Ian.
I mean, one aspect of the batting that's struggling is obviously Jason Roy. You said some things at the start of the tournament about backing him. Are those sentiments, do they remain, or would you have to?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Jason didn't get runs today. We're obviously 3 games into a tournament, and we'll take a couple of days to have a look at what our best team is for the semi-final, like we always do. Also have a look at the wicket.
So you are prepared to sort of revisit that for a one-off?
We revisit it every game. Every game, everybody's position, whether it can be changed around, can we do anything better? And that's where we come up with the mad ideas.
Ian? And then George?
Owen, given the situation, the opponent and the bowling attack you're up against and their batting lineup as well, would that be one of the best results you've had since you became captain?
I thought the New Zealand one was right up there. The New Zealand game was a bit dead and buried. The South African game at Southampton was definitely dead and buried. And I think the confidence in our bowling lineup is certainly growing. I wouldn't have said today was up there, no.
George and the gentleman.
A really confident performance from Adil today. You left him out of the first game, didn't you? Which was, how did you do that and keep his confidence so high?
He's quite a relaxed character, Adil. Him and Moeen have been very open to the fact that we got to go in with different balanced sides each time. You know, Moeen was left out of the Ireland games and then came back in at Leeds and pretty much won us the game with the bat and ball really well. Everybody within the group knows the page we're on at the moment. We're trying to win games of cricket, and everybody has bought in to that fact, regardless if they've played or not.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'd just like to ask you, do you think if England can go on and win this tournament, do you think it can be the catalyst for a period of domination over the next few years, looking at what you have at your disposal?
I think you're getting way ahead of yourself. The start would be winning the semi-final. I said before that beating a side like Australia in a game where we've nothing to gain is a big step forward for us, because we beat one of the better sides around the world, and if we're being serious about competing in future tournaments, we need to win games of cricket like this.
Take one from Adam at the front here, and then one more after that.
Oh, and I'll double barrel it 'cause I think we've got the last question here. So when you made the incision and got on top of Australia, did you feel like they fell away pretty quickly? They were a bit fragile. And secondly, how much of an influence was the crowd out in the Holly Stand as just things took off and kicked off in that session as well?
Is she talking about the last 15 hours?
Yeah, so after the rain delay, how important was the crowd at the same time? Did you feel Australia were a bit fragile?
No, probably not. No, they're a very threatening side. I thought the way in which we played forced a few errors here and there. They obviously bowled exceptionally well up front. And the crowd here have been brilliant for us for the last couple of years. They get right behind us. I don't think there's anything malicious in it, but they come, have a good time, and hopefully we entertain them.
And the last one here from the show.
Owen, you briefly mentioned Adil Rashid. What do you think has been behind his rise in prominence, especially over the last year or so?
I think he had a really tough time in India, and that was highlighted quite a lot, particularly with the red ball. Certainly with the white ball, we understand where he's at and where we want him to be at, and managing that around difficult periods is important, because he needs to be in a headspace where he can learn from situations like that. A lot of people go to India as a spinner or a young spinner and don't come back from it. But from where he was there to where he is now, I think is a completely different bowler, because he has learned from playing against some of the best on some of the flattest wickets in the world. So when he comes up against a good opposition and there is a bit on offer, he can take advantage of that. He doesn't beat himself up too much. He's always looking to learn, always looking to get better, and today he was outstanding.
Do you think you can still play red ball cricket for England?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no reason why he can't.
Okay, brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, Mark.